I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here we talk about true crime and psychology. Thank you so much for joining. Let's hop right into today's topic. Let's go. It is Monday night here in Virginia. I rarely go live on a Monday, but I watched this interview earlier today and we have to talk about it. So, this is my new case alert. The name of the individual who was arrested and charged with a crime is Lorenz Kraus. He was arrested recently after going on a TV. So there was a TV interview that he agreed to give. He also released a statement. I think the order of things is I'm going to give you all a history on what happened, and then we are going to take a look at the statement that he wrote and provided to the news agency. And then we are going to take a look at portions of his pre arrest interview and then also his post arrest interview. All links to everything that I'll be sharing is down in the description. My little disclaimer for this: I do not know this man. I do not know what's going on with his case. We are here talking about psychology and true crime, and there are a lot of red flags in this case. And if you can sit through the full interview, no lie, I sent it to Kathy from Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo. I was like, I sent it to her, and she was like, "What did I just watch?" Like, it is, and we're not going to watch all of it. And for anybody watching on replay, if there are clips, so if this seems choppy, there because if the news agency doesn't allow me to play it, then I'll have to edit portions of it out. Welcome from the UK, and I know Karen is in the UK as well. And so, welcome to everybody. I hope that y'all have a good day. And so, this case is a lot. Trigger warning for a person that. Yeah. So we're gonna. So the allegation. So Lorenz Kraus was recently arrested in the deaths of his parents back in 2017. So that is when they believe his parents died. But he was recently arrested after doing an interview with a local news station. And we have that entire interview. And it is a lot. So he is currently 53 years old, and he was recently charged with 2 counts of capital M and 2 counts of concealing a deceased body. He pled not guilty. He did admit during the interview that he did the things, and so I wonder what his defense is gonna be, because in the interview, it almost sounds like he feels justified in what he did. Like, it is a lot. Oh, wow, and so this is local news for you, Liz. Wow. Cannot say enough about the job the reporter did, just laying out and letting him go when you know he just wanted to keep asking questions. And so, and we are going to take a look at the interview in just a moment. Let's get through a little bit of the history. So, multiple agencies, including the state police, have been involved in a Social Security Administration investigation into the whereabouts and finances of Teresa and Franz Kraus. It culminated this week with an intense search of the Kraus property in uptown Albany, New York, leading to the discovery of of human of human remains. And um and so that is how we got here. I think he knew that this was discovered, and then he went on the news to tell his story. I don't think, and so the we're going to get there eventually, but he's asked if he's on medication. So during the interview, at the end of the interview, he's asked, "Are you on any medication? Do you have any mental health conditions?" And so we will get to his justification. We first need to take a look at his. It's almost like a manifesto. Like, it is concerning. Please, nobody go with any of the beliefs or thoughts mentioned inside of this statement. The PDF isn't opening. It's not letting me share my screen. Let me see. Is this the news station? Are they not letting me share it? Let me see if I can share. I might have to download it and then share my screen. Let's see about downloading it. Fun times, fun times. I hope y'all are having a good evening. I will be going live again tomorrow to talk about um it is Rapture Gate. We Rapture Talk. We will do that tomorrow. So let me try to share my screen again. Technology, you gotta love technology. All right. I tried everything else out and I did not try this out. All right. So this is the statement that Lorenz Kraus wrote and provided to the news station, and he wanted this to go out along with his interview. Already warning, this is unhinged and nobody should believe or do any of these things. Okay, so that's my warning. So his statement is to everyone who is suffering in this world. Arnold Schwarzenegger teaches that we should make yourself useful. I am open to talking with all YouTubers that I can. I will. So this is me talking. This is Dr. Barry talking. I will not interview this man. Like I don't. No thanks. No thanks. He's already done the interview with the police. He seems to kind of enjoy the attention from the interview, and so I personally do not want to sit down and have a conversation. I would be open to having a conversation with anybody that knew him or that has been impacted by any of this, but I personally would not interview him since they can present conversations over sound bites, probably because the bite is cut off. So I think it's sound bites. I invented a brain saver medical device concept while at RPI. It is designed to oxygenate the brain in case of drowning or smoke inhalation. I won a $1,000 entrepreneurship prize for it. President Shirley Ann Jackson was fond of noting it in her many speeches. I solved the problem of universals. Philosophers will know what that means. Okay. I invented a private cash device. Okay. So I'm going to skip over some of the unhinged stuff. It is a cash solution to the danger of, so I think this is cryptocurrency. I think that's, please do not go out and get his crypto. Okay. Please do not do any of those things. Everyone has a stake in this and more. The most important law in America is NYS Ratification Law 1788. 1788. It teaches that people may reassume the powers of the government whenever it is necessary to their happiness. And please don't. Please do not fall down these dark corners of like the government. Please do not do any of these things. So what he says is number one, our happiness is the law. No, it's not. The law is the law. Number two, the law is what is best for the community. I think his parents might disagree. Number three, it is best for the community to have our government in the hands of domestic and it's best for our government to have it is best for the community to have our government in the hands of domestic enemies. But that's a question mark. That's is it best? I'm sorry, my brain. And so he's saying no. This is why we need a board of trustees to ensure self-government, the law, and quality of life. Okay, this is unhinged. With this law, we have irregular constitutional change with after the fact public support as Jefferson taught. On the basis of this law, I declare, so this is, he thinks I declare the creation of the Board of Trustees for New York and one for the federal government. He cannot do those things. I am the initial trustee of both. So after doing his crime, he now wants to be the trustee of this thing. Okay. I must note that a domestic enemy is an oath-bound officer or official who betrays our sovereignty to the British and their colony Israel. All okay, so this is where it gets okay, so this is whoa. Okay, so it gets a little unhinged here. I'm gonna skip some of these parts. I have a link to this full statement down in the description. Okay. Rhodes Scholars are domestic enemies. Okay. So he talks about specific people. Okay. I don't know why Donald Trump can't say that. He would have gotten out of his okay. But okay. This is unfortunately Donald Trump said it sounds good for the US to fall under the British Empire. I don't know that okay. Okay. Wow. So okay, so this is getting darker. I did not read this before. Okay. Y'all. Y'all. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna try to make myself bigger. Oh, I should have read this before going live. This is definitely a little manifesto. This is ridiculous and very concerning. I don't know that it's going to be a level of concerning that he didn't understand that what he did was wrong, because he very much tried to hide his crime. Okay. And there is a local news article. So I don't have access to it because you have to pay, and I'm not going to pay for it. But I think he there's a potential that he was like a valid Victorian. I think he might have been a very intelligent person, but he's fallen down a very, very dark side of the internet that is very, very problematic. Yeah, let's not go any further. I think it gets more unhinged after that, and we don't need any of that. Okay. So he agrees to do this interview. So now let me share the video. Let me see. I guess I have to remove. Okay, there we go. So let me share, because he confesses in this interview. Okay. So this is Mr. Kraus, and he is going to, and so nature's nature. So I see, but like let's just keep it kosher in the chat. This is a lot. Yeah, curiously, y'all don't have anything to do with any of this, okay? Like this is very, 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 very tough. All right, so let's watch the start of this interview.
Appreciate it. We'll get to the statement, but first we want to talk about the more recent event, actually the prior events and now the more recent events. Take me back to the summer of 2017. What happened to your parents?
My mother wrote me a note, which the police must have now, describing her walking across Whitehall Road. I'm not Whitehall, Wolf Road. And she fell down on her face. And she had, when I saw her a week or so later, yellow and green, black and blue marks from this. And she wrote that down. And that was a situation that became a problem, because when elderly start to fall down, the time comes that they start to, beginning of the end. And
Okay. So his justification for why he did what he did is not appropriate at all, in my opinion. So there are some states and some countries where it is legal, where people can die with dignity. And there is normally they have a terminal illness. Normally they are the ones that administer the like they're the one, and it's done under the care of a medical doctor. They have to meet with the counselor. It's a very detailed process. This isn't something that one person can just decide. I watched this entire 30-minute interview, and nowhere in this interview does he say, my parents asked me to do this. They said that they wanted me to end their suffering. At no point does he say any of that. Every point of it is he thought his duty as a good son was to protect his parents from suffering, but it wasn't even clear to me that they were in a place where this was what they wanted. And so I watched the entire thing. It is a painful watch. You just keep wondering, like, oh my gosh, like what is going on? Lisa, I wonder if he realized that there was. I don't know that he planned to do this interview, or like once they found the deceased, like I don't know, like I don't know how much planning went into this, because at some point his house became a crime scene and he probably wasn't allowed to go back in to get anything. I could be wrong, or I mean this could just be what he wears to me. So some people are saying that he seemed confused. He did not seem, his thoughts seemed confusing, but to me it sounded like he was trying, he had this mission, and he's trying to justify what he did to look good to the world, because I think he wants this message and this deeper thing with the manifesto to, like, I think he wants to start a movement, which would probably be a cult. Like this was very, very concerning. This whole thing was very, very concerning. All right, and so let me go on ahead, and I want to skip ahead a little bit where he describes what happened. Trigger warning, like he is going to kind of describe some of this. So trigger warning. He's going to try to make it sound like there wasn't suffering and everything, but like I don't know that I trust his perception of all of this. Let me take because right now my banner is covering his. Let me see if I can take this down. I don't know that I can. Okay, I think I can. Nope. Okay, I'm not going to mess with anything. I'm going to go ahead and press play here. We fast forwarded a little bit. I'll turn closed captioning on. So if anybody has not seen this full interview, what he says happened is that they were no longer able to breathe. And so the word is kind of up on the screen. And he's going to say that he used his hand with his father. And then he's going to say that he used a piece of rope with his mother.
My father, and after he died, my mother put her head on his chest, and she was there for a few hours, and then I finished her.
And to me, so like the way that he said that, for me personally, the way that he's talking about the action that he took to his parents, there is a disconnection that is concerning to me. And once again, it's almost as though he feels justified in this. And I do not think this is what his parents wanted. The jury is probably, and he's going to mention several points during this interview that the jury is probably going to see this interview, because all the things he's doing and saying can be used against him, can absolutely be used against him. And he says everything right here.
And what did you do? Did you bury them immediately?
No. I didn't know what to do after that. I was
Okay, so I'm going to fill in the blanks here, because he's going to say he waited a few days before. And he's asked if they went peacefully or if there was a struggle, and he doesn't answer the question directly. And so he kind of says the last minute no. He was kind of shocked at how quickly his father was deceased. And he's going to say that there are over 40 million boomers that are going to suffer a horrific death. And that is his assumption. Like, this is, I think, his belief and the thing he is saying. I do not believe that this is true. And so legal-minded friends, Karen Cole asks, is he saying he put them out of their misery? So that's what he says in this interview. That's what he believes. He believes he was being a dutiful son. Like, he's going to almost say that, which is like, what? And I think he thinks there might be somebody that could understand his perspective. But and it would be different if his parents, I would view this different if he had I don't know, like if there was something that said that they had asked him to do this, that they were aware of it. Towards the end of the interview, the interviewer is going to ask, "Weren't your parents telling people that they were moving to Germany? Like, didn't they think that you were moving them back, like that they were moving to Germany?" And he kind of glosses over that a little bit. This is just, it is a lot. I'm gonna play it from here.
kind of thing. So they were, look, they were both children of World War II. My mother was born in 42. She was a toddler. She told me she would follow funerals behind the horse and wagon. This is the kind of world she grew up in. My father was at age 12 in a communist concentration camp for 3 years. So they had very serious lives, given, you know, the globe, genocidal British geopolitics, as I call it. And so they were not fooling around on things. They were serious people.
When you were doing this, did you think about the financial ramifications, the fact that you would continue to take their government money?
That happened.
You know, once that happens, and what do you do? I mean, the government is pissed because I took the Social Security money and gave it to people who are starving in the Philippines. Okay, then, be angry about that. But anything, the police.
So once again, there's another justification. Like, okay, because he used the money for the other thing, then that is the issue. And it's like, no. And for anybody that wants to go back and look at the what I posted earlier, his full statement, I have that full statement. It's linked in the in the description. If you want to see the PDF of his manifesto, or if you want to finish reading it, I do have it in the description. Okay. And so somebody calls them silent gen and not boomers. But like there's a lot of deflecting and justification. And he's almost, let me let this continue to play. Let me let this, because it gets worse. I'm sorry.
No, all the money that I have went to people to help them. Thousands of dollars. I gave almost, not all of it away, because there was still a lot left. But I gave away, I didn't play with the money, you know, I gave it away. I didn't enrich myself.
Does that justify what you did?
No, but I mean, this is not a kill for money case, is important to say. It's, in fact, I was helping people before that just fine. So it didn't, the issue of taking my parents' money for other purposes related to that doesn't fit. That's why the police, they had a theory going with which we talked about on Tuesday, and they wanted to try to say that this was taking their money to give away to other people, but it was that the other part is the primary situation.
Someone called that blood money.
Right, and I was giving it away.
But it's still blood money.
Well, if you kill to take somebody's money away, that's blood money. But if you know, what was I supposed to do with this money? Again, I couldn't tell anyone. The government needs to have an office where you can say, this is something that happened, and here's how it happens.
Is he asking for the government to create a crime? Like, because it's almost like he wanted to do the crime and continue to lose the money, but not get in trouble for the crime. Like, there should be a government office where you can, sir, you did a crime. There is no government office where you can say, I want to continue to collect the money and give it to the poor, but my parents are deceased and I just can't. Hey, Phoenix, welcome. Like, this is just very, 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 very concerning. And it kind of gets worse. And so to me, he was rationalizing what he did with the money, and that he wanted the government to have something to happen to avoid this type of, but like, no, like there's, you don't do crimes, okay? And he gets into the details of what happened with his parents. And then the interviewer asks him, "Are you on any medication? Do you have any mental disabilities?" And he says, "No, no." And he's confident in what he said, and that he's clear of mind, and that he really wanted this to be on YouTube. He specifically asked, I want you to put this on YouTube." That is what he wanted. Um, and just for anybody, I'm catching up. So I am not going to play the entire interview. We are just taking a look at a few of the clips. A little bit later in the interview, he calls his statement a statement to the public, and that it's not a manifesto, and that it reminded me of the unknown caller, where in the video, Kendra, like in the Netflix documentary, she tries to say, like, everybody breaks the law, like everybody does this. It's almost like he's doing that same thing of like, if you were in my situation, if you were in my shoes, you would do the exact same thing. And so no, if my mother was having mobility issues, I would support my mom. I would get her help. I would be there to help and support her. I would support what my mom wanted. There's no indication that his parents wanted to not be here anymore. Okay. Um, and it's clear towards the end of the interview that his parents did not ask for this. Um, and he does kind of say that he was always considered the dutiful son. And then he brings up the death of his sister. And so his sister died in the 80s. And and then he talks about having this out of body experience. I think that's about 20 minutes in. Let me see if I can find that part of the clip. Okay, so this is where he's talking about his sister. This part was odd. So let's watch this part. All right.
I'm trying to remember because there was. Yeah, I don't remember.
Did you sit with your mother? Were the three of you together in one
Well,
room?
before they died, my father was here, my mother was here, and I told them what happened to me and my sister after she died. And my sister died in the house too, because when she died.
So like he does this kind of, this is just, it's very strange, and it's coming off a little antisocial. And we talk about antisocial being against social norms, or that kind of like that dark where a person is justifying why they did what they did. And it's going to get a little bit worse. I'm going to keep it going.
From the cancer. But she died in May of 1988. And then in that fall was I was doing my 11th grade now then. And
so I think he was in high school. And he's going to describe like doing 2 all-nighters and then having this experience. But I wonder if he was having, because sometimes if you don't get enough sleep, you can, especially like if you're staying up full 24 hours, multiple times, you can start to experience odd mental health things. Like your body needs sleep.
There was I had to do a paper in a big test. So I did an overnighter to do that test, and then tried to do a second overnighter to finish that paper or something. And I crawled into bed at like 2:45 in the morning. And sometime then after, I popped out of my body. And I started floating up to the ceiling. I saw the nooks and crannies, and I acknowledged that the nooks and crannies of the ceiling, and then the whole world disappeared. And I was in this big black void, and it was rushing by, and then I saw my sister in a doorway in profile. And after that, it was like a near-death experience kind of thing. And
So this reminded me of like the Lori Vallow. Yes, I do believe he said his sister died of cancer back in the 80s when he was in high school. And around this time after her death, he stayed up for a few days because he was studying, trying to get a paper done. He was studying for a test. And then he thinks he had this out of body, like this experience where he saw her. And he's going to say, and I'm not going to play this part, he's going to say that he told his dad as he's like taking, all the trigger warnings, as he's taking his father's life, that he told his dad to go find Rosa. His sister's name was Rosa. And all of that is just, I don't think any of this makes it legal. And he's going to admit that like all like him telling his story, like this could definitely hurt his case. And they did a follow-up interview after. And so I'll play a little bit of this one. I have links to both of the full interviews down in the description if you decide to take a look at it.
Thank you for seeing us again, Lawrence. Since you told me yesterday that you killed your parents, do you feel a sense of relief today about that?
Not any extra relief. No, not at all.
The world knows what happened now? That doesn't...
I mean, that does help, I think.
And so the way that question was set up, but towards the end of this, I think his lawyer is standing as I think Lorenz's lawyer is here, and his lawyer is going to cut things off right around the end of this interview. So we are going to watch the last few minutes up until the point the lawyer cuts it off.
Trying to make good on their lives by trying to, I tried to start a vote saver philosophy, which never existed before. And I think it's very important to civilization to try to start a new civilization, to recultivate the German people, because after World War II, they were totally wiped out culturally by the United States. Everything was destroyed, and then they were basically Americanized. But I understood that the essence of German culture is folk teleology, which is a philosophical term.
Don't you think your parents might have rather continued to live as opposed to you helping German culture?
My parents always believed in doing their duty. My mother always said, I do this out of duty to you. It's not as concerned with love and life as you might think it is.
Was it a loving relationship you had with your parents?
Not in a loving, I wouldn't characterize it as loving the way you might say it in America. It was harsh.
It was harsh.
Oh yeah. As a kid, it was very harsh.
So was any of the decision to take their lives in retribution for that?
No.
That the fact that you had a harsh upbringing?
No. Okay. Sorry. All right, thank you.
So right as they were getting in to his relationship with his parents, I believe that was his attorney. His attorney let a whole lot of other stuff go because there was some weird, almost like he might have supported Hitler. Like there's some weird things he's saying, some odd things he's saying. And then when it gets to the point of, did you do this because your parents were cruel? His lawyer cuts it off. And once again, these interviews because he has the right to remain silent. So this is post, I don't know if this was before he was arraigned, but this was definitely after he was arrested. Because it's my understanding that after the first interview, he was arrested inside, like in the parking lot, because the police were aware he confessed to doing it all, and he was arrested and taken because they're going to use that confession in his trial. They just are. And could his attorney do a request a competency evaluation? So with competency, remember that it does not mean that a person is not like doesn't have, so a person can be delusional and be found competent. So he just has to understand the court system. He has to understand who his lawyer is, aid in his defense. He has to understand who the judge is, who the prosecutor is. He just has to. So the floor, or like being found competent, is a low bar. There's a lot of things that he said in the interview that, in my opinion, would make it to where it would be very difficult for him to do an insanity plea. Because even though he's saying this is what his parents wanted, he lied about them being in Germany. He, he buried their bodies. He did not he seemed to clearly understand this was a crime and this was wrong, even though he thinks he should be able to. Nobody has the right to do what he did. As I mentioned, there are some states and some countries that have death with dignity for individuals that are terminally ill, and it is something that individual decides throughout the process. They are constantly, often there's a lot of, sometimes they have to do counseling, sometimes they have to, a medical doctor oversees it, and often the person that is deciding, that is making this choice for themselves, they are the ones that follow the doctor's orders. It's not somebody else doing it to, because then it would be murder. It's illegal if somebody else is doing it to you. And so and then he spent the money, and he could have been, I don't know what he was doing with the money. So I think he did meet with the police. I don't think he gave the full details. I think he wanted to talk. He did not confess to the police. So Karen asked, so is this a police interview or a news interview? This was a news interview. So I will go back because you can see the Channel 6 information back in the back. Let me make it. So you can see, so this is a news reporter. The individual on the left, he is a news anchor, a news reporter, and then this is a Channel 6, CBS 6 exclusive. This was a news interview that he agreed to do. I do think there is an aspect of this that he wanted his message to get out to the world, and that I think he wants people to talk about this, but I think he thinks it'll be in a way where people will identify with his ideology. And please know, that is so wrong. And so I do like that in Germany, that it's my understanding. So I lived in Germany for 5 years. It was one of the best experiences. I was there from the end of elementary school through 9th grade. And before moving to Virginia, if somebody asks me where I'm from, I've been in Virginia for a very, very long time, most of my life, and I still will not claim Virginia. I loved living in Germany. We had a good experience. There were some weekends where we would be notified that a certain group was going to be looking to do some hazing near the local swimming pool, and to avoid certain areas, but that was very rare. I had a very good experience. We were able to visit a lot of the historical sites, and we were able to do a lot of positive things. So, but I did want to talk about this because in this case, he thinks the message he's sending is that he was compassionate and he was caring and he loved his parents that much. But the message I hear is that this was a selfish act. And this was, in my opinion, and I'm not the legal expert, like, but this was a crime. His parents did not ask for this. They were not aware that this was what was going to happen, and they did not agree to any of this. And they had a right to live. And I mean, he confessed. He made a decision that was not his to make at all. And he has all of this justification. He uses all this language to try to explain it away, but it is very, very problematic. And when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to share this with the community because it is a lot. It was so disturbing. Okay. So I do not go live on Mondays. That's why I'm in my like so when I got so this is what I throw on after work. I have like 3 or 4 of these. So normally if like when I'm just hanging around the house, I love onesie pajamas. I think I got these from Aldi or Lidl, one of the two of those. Because they were a good price. And it was probably because these are really good quality ones. I think these were from Lidl, however you say it. But so this is a casual Monday. We were not planning to do this. I do wonder, his parents might have been harsh. So I have worked with people that were raised by individuals that had like a very traditional German. I think his dad was from he was from another, I want to say, was it Czechoslovakia, or like his father was from somewhere else. His mother was from Germany, and they both immigrated here. And he got away with this. So this happened in 2017. Okay. And he was just arrested. So people thought the parents moved to Germany. So the neighbors, it's my understanding, I think more will come out with the trial. This will be a trial that I will follow. I do think he's going to want to testify. I think he is going to want to tell his story to the police. He could end up with federal crimes for fraud, for misusing the Social Security, but I don't know if they'll go after him if he ends up with like 2 life sentences, or like if he ends up being found guilty for the other crimes. I don't know if the federal government will take the money to prosecute him for fraud for Social Security. But this all started with like a Social Security investigation and people trying to figure out where his parents actually were. I think they realized nobody had actually seen or heard from them in years and years, but their checks were being like somebody was using the money. And so I think the government looked into it, and there were no records of them. There was nothing to indicate that they were still alive. And so I think that's why it was investigated. All right. Okay, so Terry said he contacted the news station right after the police found. So that's what I was wondering, if he reached out to the news after the search of the home, because they probably had to get a warrant to search the house, and so I think that's why he's also dressed the way he was. I don't think he was planning to go on the news that day. Like, it just seems very, very rushed. Yes, he told the neighbors that his parents moved to Germany. And that was not true. You watch Courtroom Confidential. Welcome, Carrie from the future. I hope you enjoy this video. So is your I'm 43. If your daughter is 43, then we are the exact same age. If she's in her 40s, then we are around the same age. And so, tough times. All right. So thank y'all so much for watching. Tomorrow, Tuesday, the day I normally go live, we will be talking about rapture talk, which is all the, so there, so please don't go down the rapture talk. So there's somebody that thinks they know when, like, so they're believing, I don't know. So there's some odd things happening on TikTok, and we're going to talk about it tomorrow. So there were two they were found at the same time. So I think he did it the same night. Like he did the crime. He admitted, from what he said in his interview, it was within a few hours. He started with his dad and then his mom. And then the bodies were in the home for a few days, and then he buried them in the backyard. So a little hot. Ooh, I love I didn't come here. I love the Isle of Shame. Okay. Lidl does have, so it's aisles. It's not just one aisle. Lidl has like 4 or 5 aisles of things that, like, you did not come in here for a toy train. You did not come in here for any of those things. Aldi, it's all on one aisle. Lidl's more spread out. Like, it's a little bit, my husband likes that one a little bit more than he likes Aldi. Aldi reminds me of Trader Joe's. Like, it's nice and quaint and cute and small. And there's normally one cashier that works very, very fast, but only one cashier. Lidl's a little bit bigger. It's a bigger store. They have a bakery, delicious bakery. Oh, amazing bakery. With fresh, like, all the baked goods. And sometimes, yeah. And so we have Aldi is, yeah. So we have both in our area. And so, thank y'all for watching. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your evening. If you're in the UK, go to bed. Go to bed, Karen. I hope y'all have a good evening. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.